We like to move on from one topic to the next in this country. We follow Trump wherever the bouncing ball on his Truth Social account goes. But I think we need to, back up and talk about some things that just we just move on from so quickly. Now, I want to talk again about, this orange buffoon taking military action against Iran for political and narcissistic reasons. As you know, he lied about the reasons that he was bombing Iran, saying it was because they were on the verge of acquiring nuclear weapons. We all know that's bullshit. And then, of course, as soon as it happened, he lied about the effectiveness of the strike. I mean, within, an hour or two, he and the rest of his regime were all out there saying, following his lead, saying that their nuclear infrastructure was completely obliterated. It's like he asked somebody to give him a good word, and they told him, how about obliterated? He liked that. Obviously never heard that word before, like so many words. Once he finds a new word that he likes, he repeats it over and over and over again. So obliterated is the one he latched onto. Of course, they were saying that before it was even possible to have any idea how extensive the damage from that bombing was. And then in the aftermath, it turns out we had some leaks. We've had multiple leaks now from the U.S. government saying that, no, it wasn't completely obliterated. We did damage, but their program was only set back probably a matter of months. And now we have yet another person saying this who would know what they're talking about. This is from the New York Times. Headline, UN inspector says Iran could be enriching fuel again in a matter of months. The chief UN nuclear inspector has widened the divide with the Trump administration over how severely the United States set back Iran's nuclear program, declaring that it could begin enriching uranium in a matter of months, even as President Donald Trump, the convicted felon, repeated his claim that Tehran had lost interest in the effort. By the way, did you hear his comments about this? Oh, we don't even need we don't even need any assurances from Iran. Maybe we'll have a deal. Maybe we won't have a deal. Maybe we'll put something in writing. I don't know. Maybe I'll have Marco draw something up. But it's not really needed. I'll take their word for it. They're not interested in it. What a fucking clown. Anyway, if his stated reason for bombing Iran was that they were this close to acquiring nuclear weapons, and we cannot allow that to happen. It's in our vital national security interest to keep them from acquiring nuclear weapons. Wouldn't he want to know the actual facts here? I know this is all rhetorical because he doesn't actually give a shit. And he knows they weren't this close to having nuclear weapons. That was just a lie. That was the pretext. So that he can go in there and bomb and get around Congress. Oh, we had no time to go to Congress. I don't know what the hell that was. We have no time to go to Congress to get authorization. They're so close to getting nuclear weapons. We got to go in there right now. It really had to do with this jackass changing the subject, looking tough, changing the narrative from, 2-week taco Trump being embarrassed at his little, authoritarian thug parade, and then the No Kings protests, and on and on and on. That's what it was about. But if it was about preventing Iran from getting nuclear weapons, then wouldn't he want to know the truth? Wouldn't he want the most accurate assessment of the state of Iran's nuclear program? And if people like this UN nuclear inspector is correct, that all we did is set him back a couple months. God, allergies are killing me out here. Then don't we need to go back in and bomb them some more? Right? I mean, or maybe even take more action than that to ensure that we completely obliterate their nuclear program? I mean, if that's what it's about, isn't that logical? Hey, We tried to obliterate their program, with these bunker buster bombs. That didn't get the job done. I guess they were dug in too deep. It was too hardened, whatever it was. But we're gonna have to bomb some more, or we're gonna have to go in there and make sure this nuclear weapons program is completely obliterated. Wouldn't that be what he would pursue? I mean, wouldn't he, if all these estimates that all we did is set them back a couple months are accurate, and I believe they probably are, shouldn't he take that information, since now we've at least bought us some time, right? Oh, we couldn't go to Congress before because there was no time. Well, we know we at least have a couple of months, right? We have more than that. This UN inspector says they could begin enriching uranium again within a couple of months. So we got some time. Get the intelligence, go to Congress and say, hey, I took this action without going to you. My bad, but we had to take action immediately. No time to come to you. Now we have a little time because of my wonderful action, but we need to go back in there. So now I'm here seeking congressional authorization to finish the job because it's so damn important. Wouldn't that be what he's doing? But no, that's not what he's doing. He's just declaring victory. He creates a problem for whatever reason so that he can solve it and look tough, and then declares that everything's fixed for all time. He doesn't even need a deal with Iran. We don't even have to put anything in writing because they're not going to pursue nuclear weapons anymore. I'm sure of it. This was all complete smokescreen, complete distraction, complete bullshit, all so that he can distract from whatever the hell he wanted to distract from at that time. And there was so much. I mean, remember what was in the news not too long ago? Epstein files? I mean, the guy who bought the presidency for Donald Trump, Elon Musk, says Trump's in those files. That was pretty big, but nobody's talking about that anymore. Anyway, oh yeah, one more thing about this whole Iran deal before I go. See this? Let me read a little. This is from Talking Points memo. Trump says he gave Iran permission to bomb U.S. base in Qatar. Of course, nobody gives a shit. But think about that for a second. Anyways, let me read a little of this. When political scientist Seth Maskett shared this story on Blue Sky yesterday, I couldn't believe it was real. The right-wing Washington Times reported that at a press conference at the NATO summit in the Netherlands on Wednesday, Trump revealed that he had given Iran permission to bomb the U.S.'s I don't even know how to pronounce that, base in Qatar in retaliation for the American bombing of their nuclear sites. They said, quote, well, this is Trump. They said, we're going to shoot them. Is 1 o'clock okay? I said, it's fine. And everybody was emptied off the base so they couldn't get hurt except for the gunners. Now, do you ever recall a United States president giving another country, especially one we're essentially at war with? I mean, that was an act of war in which we were engaging, dropping 30,000-pound bombs on their country. That's an act of war, wouldn't you say? So, could you think of another president who gave another country permission to bomb our U.S. military bases? You kidding me? And nothing? Media? Nothing? I mean, I know it's been reported. I've seen it in other places. It's been reported, but it hasn't been made a big deal of. And didn't Donald Trump warn them on Truth Social? We're taking this action because we got to knock out your nukes, but you better not retaliate. I remember that crystal clear. You better not retaliate or I'm going to whatever. I'm going to obliterate you or whatever the hell he said. But instead, Iran calls him up and says, hey, we got to save face or whatever. Will you just let us bomb one of your bases? Can we do it at 1 o'clock? We're planning on bombing you at 1 o'clock. Is that all right? And Trump says, yeah, bomb our military base. I'll get most of the personnel out of there except for the gunners, and you go over there and you bomb it. I understand this is all a game. It's all a show. I'm a reality TV show host. I wasn't really bombing you because, I think you guys are on the verge of getting nuclear weapons. I know that's not true. I bombed you because I had to save face. I was getting made fun of. They were calling me Donnie, 2 weeks, and, Taco 2 weeks, and making fun of me for my squeaky little tank parade. And, they were making fun of me over there at the G7 summit, and I had to change the subject. And then Elon Musk was out there, blowing the whistle on me, palling around with Jeffrey Epstein, and that I was in the files. And, I am, but I don't want everybody to know that. So, I had to bomb you for that. So I totally get it. I understand that you need to save face too. I get it. So, yeah, you bomb us at 1 o'clock. That's cool. No problem. You fucking kidding me? Oh, anyway, what are you going to do? This stuff is almost... It's like almost beyond belief, but it's true. Every day you wake up to this crap. I don't know how many things happen every single day that we've just become accustomed to that not all that long ago you would never even believe could happen in this country. But they happen multiple times a day, every single day, and it's just a big ho-hum yawn from most people in this country. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.